Avast ye landlubbers! What's up, Transformers fans? Mondo the Dad at Optimus Prime here, and I want to start off with this video by saying thank you for all of the positive response that I got on my last video. That was the rant about the SS-86 Starscream. We've gotten so many views, but more importantly, we've gotten a lot of comments because I love interacting with you guys. It's a shame that we had to come together over such a negative topic, but I appreciate all of the comments, all of your input, and all of that. And it's nice to know that I'm not alone in my feelings on exclusives, and particularly the SS-86 Starscream, but exclusives in general. And it's just really fantastic. Thank you for all of those that also sub to the channel. Really, really appreciate it. At the end of that video, I said my next video would be a more positive video because I don't like to get overly negative unless I have to, like in that Starscream situation. So here we are with hopefully a more positive video, because today I'm taking a look at toys that actually make me really happy, surprisingly, and that is the toys from the Transformers Cyberworld line. And today we're taking a look at the Transformers Cyberworld Energon Surge, what's it say, Ultimate Cyber Changers Scourge. These toys, not just with Transformers, but with all these toy lines, they are getting out of hand with the official name of the toys. And in a way, it's kind of fitting that I am taking a look at Scourge today, because believe it or not, he kind of, or at least my copy of Scourge, pertains kind of to the SS-86 Starscream. And the reason for that is I went, over the weekend, we went to my mother-in-law's house, and she has a Target close by, and I said, well, I'll go to Target and see if they have the 86 Starscream. I didn't have high hopes. I pretty much knew that I'd be leaving without a Starscream, but surprisingly, they had one more copy of the 80 or Cyberworld Scourge, and I've been on the hunt for him for a while. I've come up empty. He is on Amazon, but I don't know if that's a second seller or what. I didn't look into it, but they want like almost $50, and I'm not paying $50 for a Cyberworld Scourge. But they had them at that Target, so at least I didn't leave totally empty-handed, and I actually scored something I was on the hunt for, so that worked out. So a day where I didn't expect too much ended up being, when it comes to collecting and getting the Starscream and stuff, ended up being a pretty decent day. Now the only thing left to do is to check out Scourge and see what he's all about. I still have him in the packaging here. I really like a lot of this artwork they've been using for the Cyberworld characters, and that is a cool looking piece of artwork of Scourge. Really, really cool. And there he is in his pirate ship mode. Some more artwork. Scourge, of course, Scourge himself with his chest wide open, giving you his Energon Surge. We'll flip it around. I always like to check the backs to see if like we have a sneak peek at something we didn't know was coming out in the Cyberworld line, but nope, we got the Shockwave and the Yeti Hound, but that's okay, and his accessories. So I'm going to pop this guy open and we will go through him and check him out. So here we have Scourge out of his packaging, and before we take a look at Scourge himself, let's check out his accessories, because he's an ultra cyber changer or whatever the hell they call him. So he comes with stuff. First, you get these two Energon Surge. Of course, he's evil, so they come in the purple clear plastic, kind of look like bat wings. And then you got these two spiky diamond looking things, which are pretty cool. Then you have his sword. Pirates, what are they called? Cutlasses, I think, right? And you get that, like, I don't know what you call it, greenish, bluish, pastel type color in the middle of the sword. Some nice sculpt work. And around it, you have the jagged clear purple, which makes it look like it's got, like it's an energy sword, which I think is pretty cool. And then you have his sail. Again, some nice detail there. Cool Decepticon symbol. I wish they kind of played into it a little bit more and put like the Decepticon symbol with crossbones. I think that would have been awesome. But yeah, pretty cool. Get that pastel type green. So that is what you get with Scourge. So let's take a closer look at Scourge himself with his chest closed. So you can't see, his Energon Surge. It is the front of the ship, which is cool. Some silver, some purple. Now I want to say, first off, out of the package, in the package and now out of the package, his color scheme to me is a very 90s vibe. not that neon you got in the 90s, but you got these other wild colors, and you got pastels as well. And that's what it's like to me. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't have surprised me if they like gave him some neon yellow or green on the sides. Very 90s in a lot of ways. But yeah, really cool. The chest does stick out a lot when it's closed because it's the front of the ship. You got those pastel greens, the purples, the blues. Some nice sculpt work. Some like not as jacked and bulky arms, but very pirate-like. So pretty cool. And then on the back, not much going on. A little bit of hollowness, but you know, it's Cyberworld. What do you want? What do you expect? We will take a closer look at that head sculpt because he's a pirate. Does he look like a pirate? Oh yeah. He's got the hat. Of course, he's got the Scourge mustache, like the goatee thing. And I think it's funny, he has a purple patch on one eye. That is really, really cool. So yeah, I'm digging the look of Scourge here for sure. Of course, Cyberworld character, very limited articulation. Arm goes up that far, rotates all around, it's on a ball. No elbows. And on these bigger, these ultra cyber changers, it frustrates me even more they don't have elbows, because it just looks like, even when you look at the sculpt, that they should, but of course they don't. No waist, leg does the splits like that, kicks forward, back. Now, he doesn't have elbows, but they all have knees, and I think, sadly, he has the worst knee bend out of all the Cyberworld figures I own. I also like that nice detail in the back there, see the gears or whatever, and on the side of the legs. Really cool. Very, like, bat-like in a way, like in some spots, like up here. But yeah, so a limited figure, even limited within his own line. I just figured I'd point that out. Now let's go ahead and arm Scourge up with some of his accessories. Now the instructions say, if I'm reading this right, to plug the sail in somewhere, like here, maybe. I don't know if I like that really. I guess you can say it's a shield. Oh, maybe like that. Okay, maybe like that. Still don't like that too much. I'm just going by what the instructions say. Of course, Cyberworld's meant to mix and match. You can give these accessories to other characters. But for the sake of this video, we're just going to arm him up kind of like how the instructions show. So, put that on. And it says, oh, it says to put these on like so. Maybe like this. It's hard to tell. These instructions kind of stink. Yeah, like that. So you got that like that. I gotta make sure I get that on camera. I'm talking and take the figure away. Get that in there like that. And then all the bottom spiky thingies just clip on down. Get this on camera. Down here. And of course, you can probably situate these any way you want. It's back like that or whatever. But for the sake of the video, we won't get into all the mixing matching. That's for when you're having fun with your Cyberworld figures. And believe me, I do have fun with mine. Then a sword. So there is Scourge, ready to take on the high seas and plunder and loot and all that stuff. Kind of. Whoa. Okay, well, we'll do that too. All ready to plunder, cause mayhem, or whatever. And for comparison, here is Cyberworld Ultra Cyber Changer Scourge with the Ultra Cyber Changer Shockwave and the Cyber Changer Bull Megatron. And that is quite a lot of purple. As we move on, I think I should have mentioned this earlier, but you might be hearing my dishwasher in the background because I'm using a makeshift studio, that being table in my dining room, because where I usually film is in my bedroom, and it's being used right now. I can't really film in there, but you also might hear some tapping noises, and I wanted to share this because it's hilarious. We have a bird feeder in our living room window, and I have 4 cats. Now this bird, and I believe it's the same bird, keeps coming to feed, and these cats go crazy. They hurl themselves at the window. They paw frantically at the window because of this bird. And what I think it's funny is because this bird does not give an AF about these cats, Birds are usually jittery, but this bird just goes about its business while my cats are hurling themselves at the window, and I just think that's funny. But that's what you might be hearing. But anyway, back to Scourge. So here we have him once again by his lonesome, and that's because we need to take off his accessories so we can get him into his pirate ship mode. So we'll just pop all this stuff off. I really love that sail. Really cool. So there we go. There he is. And now let's get him into pirate ship mode. And I'll do my best to make sure I keep him in frame. Sometimes I'm terrible at that. But of course, you need the front of the ship, so you got to close up his chest, swivel his arms out like so, and it's basically Cyberworld. And he has like the auto morph to him, so you get that, and it gets stuck. Why is it getting stuck? I mean, these things are supposed to be easy, but sometimes they're a pain. Actually, just I know what they're trying to do, but they don't always want to do it, and I don't know why in this case. Ah, there we go. It got hung up on a piece over there, the arms. I don't know why they didn't have me click these in first, the legs. We'll go ahead and do that now. This arm is out of whack. There. Wait a minute. That can't be right. He's not right. What's going on here? There. A little finagling needs to be done here, accomplished. I guess that is it. I figured, no, these, yeah, you got to tab these into these holes. So once again, you got to get everything lined up. There we go. See, it's got to be lined up like that. They're supposed to be easy, but sometimes they're not as easy as they let on. Just because of clearance and tolerance issues. I have no tolerance for you. And that one doesn't want to go in. Get in there, you. This side. So yeah, just like Shockwave, he's a little finicky, and it was just that you have to kind of like hold this together while pushing the crotch piece up to get everything to fit. But there he is, all compact. Everything's tabbed in, and now you have what kind of looks like a ship, but of course that's where his accessories come into play. So what do they tell you to do? Well, first you want to take a sail, get that plugged in. The instructions show you can keep the sail on his arm to do that, but I think it's probably easier to do it afterwards like that. Then this piece, oh, up farther. Up here? Yeah, up here. So I want you to put these up here like so. Sorry, I just like was lost in thought for a minute, thinking about my messed up cats. So like that. And then these pieces. Oh, these pieces go on. Oh, you can do the sides like so. Like that. And like that. And then the sword is, I forget what they call them, but what they use to ram ships and stuff. So yeah, there you have Scourge in pirate ship mode, and I think he looks pretty cool. We'll take a closer look. There's the front. Is the front the bow? And the back is the aft. Or stern. I don't know ship lingo. But yeah, pretty cool. Of course, it's the same colors because they're simple transformations. So there's nothing that you see on the ship that you didn't see in the robot mode, pretty much, and vice versa. But yeah, I like how they look like wings when I describe these accessories, but now it's cool. What I think is cool is it's supposed to be like water. Gives me a water vibe. And there's a cool sail and mast. Yeah, really fun. There's the back. Some nice details, lines there. Really fun pirate ship, I think. Now, another thing you can do is you can take these pieces like that. How do they go? Like I said, the pictures suck to explain. Yeah, they go like that. So you plug these into the sail, like so. The sail just popped out. Maybe that's why they tell you to do it during transformation. I don't know. I'm a fan, not an expert. That's what I always say. So you put it like that. Then you can take a character like, say, Bull Megatron. Usually, though, I like to maybe put it like this. I'm not taking his sword out, or his axe out. That's why, too. But yeah, there you go. Now he's steering the ship, which is kind of funny because he's a bit oversized for a pirate ship, and it takes away the illusion that Scourge is this big, intimidating pirate ship, but still really, really fun. Really funny and really fun. Quickly, I also just realized that if you put the flag and the mast in his hand, and you have it so it's facing like that, he kind of has a blaster, a flag blaster, I guess. So that's something else you could do. But I think, for my purposes, most of the time, it'll just be there. It's also a shame. I wish there was a place on the back that you could plug the sail into. And I think that would have worked out pretty cool as well. So that is my look at the Transformers Cyberworld Ultra Cyber Changer Scourge. And overall, I really like this guy. As I said, as I say, the name of the game for Cyberworld is fun. It's supposed to draw on, the next generation of Transformers fans. And, if it happens to appeal to us big kids, that's great too. It happens to appeal to me, both the show and the toys, because I judge these on, within the context of what they are. Would I like to see things like elbows and stuff? Of course. I really think it's a shame that they don't at least give us elbows. To me, they don't need to be super highly articulated because that's not what they're meant to be. But I don't think it would kill Hasbro to put elbows in these guys. But that aside, Scourge is another great and fun addition to the line. And I really dig this Scourge, from just the design, making him a pirate ship, and they played into it, giving him like the pirate captain helmet and everything, top of the head or whatever. And yeah, and the effects that could be either wing types or water effects. The 90s pastel vibe, I'm really digging. And perhaps within the context of Cyberworld, perhaps, it's kind of a little bit of a downer that his knee bends aren't that great. I think the weakest in the line, at least out of all the Cyberworld toys I actually own. Spit it out. But yeah, overall, really like this Scourge. And I'm happy to have picked him up, because I thought there was a fear that I might not be able to get him, because just hearing on different forums online, people that aren't into Cyberworld at all, collectors, really thought the Scourge looked cool and were like very interested in picking him up. So I thought I was going to have a bigger problem than I did end up. And again, hunting for that stupid Starscream scored me Scourge. So I'm happy. Yeah, just a great addition, and he is a lot of fun. And with that being said, drop me a comment to let me know what you guys think of Scourge here. And until next time, thanks for docking.